The Silent Warrior. I didn't really know how to title this video because these are the people that do things for everyone else and ask for nothing in return. These are the friends and the family members that are always there when you need them, but feel that they themselves have no one to lean on. Why are they like this? And the reality of it is you either know this person or you are this person. My sympathies go out to you if you are dating this person, because there's a very real chance that you are suffering the consequences of other people's actions. That is the sad reality. So why do I want to call them the Silent Warrior? Because they are the ones that fight battles in the dark that no one knows about. They will cry themselves to sleep. They will have kind of that dark night of the soul where all of the panic, all of the worry, everything, the weight of the world, so to speak, falls on their shoulders, but they don't reach out to help anyone. Or they don't reach. These are the people that will cry themselves to sleep at night. They will have the equivalent of the dark night of the soul when all of the pain, all of the panic, all of the worry, the weight of the world settles in on their shoulders in those quiet moments, especially at night. And it is in the quiet and the stillness of the night, being alone, that they allow themselves to break. And they allow themselves to feel everything, to process everything, but they never reach out in those moments. And more often than not, these are learned behaviors. They are survival skills that people have developed. They might even be, to a degree, maybe the people pleaser, the one that has had to step up and take care of everyone. Either they were pushed into the role or they just voluntarily stepped into it. So this is a learned thing or learned habit on a significant number of layers, and this video by no means at all can conceivably cover every situation, every outcome. But it could be starting with that this person watched a parent in this role, a mother or a father, maybe a grandparent. They were the rock of the family. They held it all together. They took on everyone's problems, everyone's concerns, and never complained about anything. They never showed weakness. They were the one that was steadfast and solid on the outside. They handled everything. What went on behind closed doors, or maybe whatever the people that were closest to them, maybe a significant other, maybe a pet, maybe a sibling, these people do generally have a few people around them that they will unload on or talk to. Depends on the person, how much they let out. But no one really knew what was going on. They just knew that when something went wrong, this is the person I call. They are the one that is holding everything together. They are the linchpin of the family, of the friend group, of your life. Maybe it's a best friend, or it's that one friend that you know that is there no matter what. But that it was learned by watching someone else do it. This could be someone that was put into this role, maybe by family, maybe by friends. They watched what was going on. They were the solid one. They were the one that everyone could rely on emotionally, maybe physically, and they were the one that people just automatically came to unload. And somewhere in there, that person started to realize that when they needed something, if they needed help, if they needed someone to talk to cry to, no one was around. No one was willing to take the time for them that they gave to everyone else. So they just shouldered that burden and realized that they have to just do this alone. You might say, why didn't they, walk away from the friend group? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? I can't answer that because everyone's reasons are their own. Yeah, everyone's thought processes, everyone's reasons are very individualistic. So you might say, well, why didn't this person find someone better? Maybe it's because they cared too much. The other thing is, maybe they've decided they didn't want to be a burden. I generally know, even in myself, as I've gotten older, as my friends have gotten older, you understand that the people around you have other responsibilities. They have their own family, especially when it comes to friends, maybe cousins or whatnot, but they have their own family. They're married, maybe they have children, they have in-laws, they have their own bills to pay. Maybe someone's not working, so they're hard up on stuff, and maybe they have the time, but maybe they don't have the financial ability. So maybe it's like they can come and help you, but you have to kind of reimburse them, give them gas money, pay for food, depending on how you feel about that. That's up to you. But you start to realize that other people have their own problems, their own responsibilities, and you don't want to burden them with yours. You don't want to be that burden. The reality of it is you're not a burden, but you think that you are. Or the perception is that I'm unloading, or I'm asking too much of someone when I know that they already have limited time. They've got other things that they need to worry about. I'm not going to bother them with this thing that's going through, whether it's maybe you need help moving, maybe you need help rearranging something, maybe you just need someone to talk to, maybe you just want to get out of the house and meet somebody for dinner. But you're like, no, it's okay. I know they have stuff to do. I don't need to interfere. And you just go on with your life and you internalize. And you just keep internalizing, you hold it in, and you process in those quiet moments. It might be too. So this is another difficult one. They have learned that when they reached out for help, not everyone is helping for the right reason. What does that mean? So some people will come and help you, and they will do so with an open heart, open mind, and they will do what you need them to do. You have a good time, and it's wonderful. Sometimes people come and help you, and they will criticize you the entire time. They're playing 20 questions when you're like, just do what I asked you to do. Now, it's one thing, in all fairness, it is one thing if you're asking for clarification on, hey, I do it this way. How do you want me to do it for you? Are you okay with how I do it? That's one thing. That's kind of understandable, because sometimes people are particular, and depending on what's going on, if it's like maybe it's meal prepping, maybe it's packing, maybe it's helping someone with a sick family member. There are certain things that people get very specific about. Understandable. But if you're just going to sit there and play 20 questions and go, well, why are you doing it this way? How come you're doing this? Why do you have all of this? Guess what? That person will never ask you for help again. And if they do, it's because they are desperate. And you are the only person available. It's the situation. Yeah. And this is parents and siblings. I want you to make note of that. And even sometimes, family members, because that is oftentimes a lot of what will come across from family. Our families, we grew up together. They know how to push your buttons. Family knows how to push your buttons. You grew up with them. They know all your weak points. They know your trigger points. No one knows how to push your buttons quite like your family. And when someone's asking you for help, don't do that. They're already probably stressed out as it is. You're just making the situation worse, and you are making it so that this person won't come to you voluntarily unless they absolutely have to. You're like, well, that's not fair, because they've learned that you're not there for the right reason. You're there to criticize. Maybe you're there for gossip. You want to know what's going on, which isn't helping them either if they have a deadline or they have a task they're trying to complete and you're off flitting around like a social butterfly. They need you here. They need you doing what they've asked you to do. They don't need you wandering off. You're not helpful. And you've proven that you're not reliable. These are the people that are the rock, and they are reliable for everyone else. And they realize that what they give out to people, they will not get in return. And that is a painful realization. And it is driven home sometimes by watching things come into fruition. Now, some of you are going, well, I reach out to this person, I offer to help, I do this, I do that. They don't take me up on it. It's not my problem. Why is it now all of a sudden the consequences of my actions? It may not be your actions. It may be people before you. And now this person is so deeply entrenched in that mindset that they're not willing to ask for help. If it is something that you have done, then they have pushed you into a different classification. What does that mean? Some people classify the people in their life in rings or in groups. And if you are lucky enough to be someone that they consider in their close circle, they don't mind opening up to you. They don't mind being vulnerable with you. It might be more on a one-on-one situation or in a very small group that this person lets their guard down and speaks. In larger groups, this person just kind of slips back into observer mode. They're just watching everyone. They're watching, they're observing, but they're not engaging as much. So if you are someone that this person used to hold very dear and you are finding that their relationship is not the same, it could just be simply that you've grown apart. Life happens. It also might be that through a series of events, you have proven to them time and time again that you are unreliable. You choose other people over this person. You have criticized this person, or people that this person protects, looks after, holds very dear, and because of that, they have now put you into a place where you don't get any information, or you get very limited information. And a lot of times, people are not aware of that. They don't pick up on the fact that this person that used to be incredibly open and bubbly and used to share with them has shut down. They're only getting the briefest of information. They're getting surface level information because this person doesn't trust them anymore. The trust has been broken or it has been violated. And they're like, well, due to varying circumstances, I can't completely cut you out of my life, but it doesn't mean you're going to have full access anymore. This is and this can also be something that comes up in how they were brought up. If this person has found, this might be more in family situations, but it boils over into friendships and work environments, where if they have found that they are habitually being spoken over, if their thoughts, opinions, their stories are constantly being disregarded, someone's cutting them off, they're not letting them finish, someone asks a question and before they've even answered or have gotten halfway through the answer, the person's on to something else. They give a story, There are no follow-up questions. There's nothing like that. This person may start to learn that they are not valued. Their presence really isn't valued. Their words aren't valued. No one cares. So what ends up happening is they end up responding in very just short, very clipped situations. You're not going to get a whole story anymore. You're going to get fine. I'm fine. Oh, it's good. This, that, or the other. Because they're buffering because they don't have the mental and emotional and physical capacity to deal with yet either another criticism, or they just don't feel like being ignored. Oh, I have your attention for a minute? Cool. Okay, let me answer your question in the shortest form possible. I will now return the question and just let you either ramble on or let you move on to talk to someone else. And that's another thing that people don't really recognize. People won't realize that the conversation has changed. How are you doing? I'm fine. You know damn well they're not fine. You can tell they're exhausted. Or if they're like, I'm fine, I'm just tired. Tired is probably one of the most loaded words because they could just be physical exhaustion. It could be physical, mental, emotional, and spiritually exhausted. It could be that they are teetering on that very fine edge of burnout, or they are burnt out. I'm fine, I'm just tired. That's all you're gonna get. One of my best friends goes, are you sure? The people that know these people best will be the ones to push. You're lying. What's really wrong? I can hear it in your voice. Something's not right. Some parents will do this as well. And either the person will open up. They may open up a little bit at a time. It may all come forth all at once. Or you may find that they don't really answer because maybe whatever's going on, they are still processing. These are people that process first and then let you know what's going on. So it might be that they have to kind of work through something in their head, come to terms with it, acclimate to it, and then they'll let you know what's going on. So it might be, or it just might be that it's like, I don't really want to talk about it right now. That would very much depend on the social situation. Someone asks a seemingly innocuous question, and it's like, I'd really rather not talk about that right now. Because there's a deeper story there. Maybe it's more emotional. Maybe it's just there's stuff going on and it's a long story and this is not the time nor the place in which I really want to discuss it. But these are the silent warriors. This is part of the reason why they are. If you had children that grew up with parents that had substance abuse problems, gambling problems, if there was any kind of that went on in the home, physical, mental, emotional abuse, these kids had to grow up fast. Sometimes they were the buffer between younger siblings. Maybe they were the buffer between a parent. Maybe they just had to take care of themselves because their parents were incapable of it. And they just learned very quickly, either because the other adults in their life had no idea what was going on, or they didn't have anyone else that they could reach out to ask for help, because they were afraid of what would happen, what was going to happen to them, what was going to happen to their parents. There's a level of fear that gets involved in this, but these are traumatic events that lead children and then later adults to develop certain survival methods, certain safety methods. They they interact with people very differently. Depends on it. Birth order has a lot to do with it. I'm an only child. My parents are older. My mother once told me one time she was afraid she made me too independent because I don't date a lot. And she was just kind of afraid that independent streak was to my detriment. But it's because I was always alone. And when I wasn't alone, I was with adults. And I grew up basically kind of by myself, or with my mother or with my grandmother. I was the one that was always helping my dad with stuff. Now that they're older, I'm in a quasi-caretaker mode. So I don't have people that I don't have siblings that I could be like, I need your help. Can you help me with this? Like, today is not a good day. Like, I got stuff to do. Daddy needs help. Can you come and do that? Or mom needs something. It all falls to me. I don't really talk about that a lot to people. Knock on wood, they are both healthy and they both got all their faculties. But as the only child, a lot of things by default fall to me. So I've learned to shoulder that burden and to shoulder that. And that's part of the reason why I know it took me so long to learn, referencing last week's video on self-love. It took me a long time to figure out how to set those boundaries and how to choose myself and not be like, but I need to do stuff for them. I need to be able to take care of them. That'll affect you too. Just your upbringing, just a general upbringing. You can grow up in a perfectly loving, caring home, but you learn certain things because you are put into certain roles. And it takes a lifetime to break. And that might be something that you never break. You're always going to be that person because you understand what it is to be the port in the storm, to be that solid, rock steady person that keeps their head in chaos. We all need that person. And, sometimes we wish we weren't that person, but sometimes we don't have a choice. So hopefully this gives you some insight into the people in your life that are like this. Because these are the people that maybe at some time or another have hit the lows that no one knows about. They would kill to be able to lay down their sword and shield for a while and not be the one to have to take control. They would love, I hate to say this, but maybe there have been points in their life where maybe they just wanted to end it so that they could be at peace and not have to be that person everyone relies on. They haven't. They didn't do it. They're still here. They're still trucking along. They've got better coping mechanisms. I hope they have better coping mechanisms. But you have no idea the weight and the depth of what these people in your life have gone through. The only thing you can do is prove to them that you see them. Check up on them. Let them know, even if they don't open up willingly, I'm here whenever you need me. I will do the best I can to make myself available to you, to give back to you for all that you have given to me. And that's all you can do. And there's going to be the rare few people that pick up on that. But that's why you're here watching this video. Because you know these people. You are this person. And if you know these people, you know the value that they have in your life. And you would do anything for them. They just don't know that. These are people that are not always good at being vulnerable. They have to work very hard at it. And knowing that there is someone they can be vulnerable with, knowing that there is someone that they can drop that shield with, is huge. And it takes so much off of them just to know, I'm gonna be okay. I have this person, this group of people, probably a smaller group, which is fine. But I have my people, and I know I can count on them in those darkest moments. So I hope that you can be that person for whoever it is in your life. And that if you are this person, I really hope you find your tribe. I hope you find those people that let you rest, my warrior. And that you can lay down your sword and shield and be at peace. Even if it's just for a little while. All right. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.